Okay, so we are live. Hello, everybody, and happy Thursday to all of you that are tuning in. What a week it has been in crypto, an exciting one. So, we thought we're going to capitalize on all eyes on crypto right now and host an all star lineup of a live stream on Binance YouTube, just to give a little bit of a breakdown of what has been going on in the markets and what this means for the future of crypto in 2025. So, an all-star panel. Starting off, we have Alice Liu from CoinMarketCap joining me here in the studio. Alice, great to see you.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
We also have Guy from Coin Bureau. So it's a friendly reunion here. Guy, thank you for joining today.
Great to see you again, Jess. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. And we also have Vishal who's joining us. And Vishal, by the background, Merry Christmas. How are you doing?
It's my wallpaper. Hi guys, nice to be on the show. Thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you, all three of you, for taking time out of what has been a very busy schedule, a super busy week for the markets to dive into what is happening. We're going to jump into what has happened this week in crypto. And Alice, we're going to start with you because this week we did see all eyes on Trump's inauguration and what it could mean for the markets. Now, one of the key messages that we saw over this week was this vision for a crypto-friendly environment. And I'm really curious from your perspective, what can we expect as the broader crypto industry, people like me and you that are investing in crypto, watching the crypto space? What does this mean for a Trump administration?
Yeah, of course. So we are definitely right now at the right time to do this because we just saw it. The news broke out that potentially we might hear from Trump on the crypto executive order very soon. So as you said, this week we've seen Trump taking the office, and be it from the weekend already that we started to see, for example, the launch of Trump meme coins and a few of the other meme coins that we're seeing, together with his inauguration ceremony. But we did actually hear him talking about crypto. So that came a bit of shocking to everyone. But I believe very soon we might see some actions on this already. And the Trump administration means a lot to crypto, a lot of the changes to come, both politically, financially, regulation-wise, product-wise, resource-wise, a lot to expect.
And Guy, I'm curious to hear from you because I know that you and Nick on the Coin Bureau channel have been covering this extensively. You've actually just come off a live stream on digital asset news. So you guys have been really diving into this. So from your perspective, what kind of things are you expecting this to mean for 2025 in crypto?
I guess, like I said earlier on the previous live stream, I think one of the things that is becoming obvious, and I think that the Trump meme coin launch and the Melania one shortly after, I think what they both signal is that although this is going to be a great year for crypto, although excuse me, although there is a crypto-friendly president in the White House, it may not go as we imagine it will. I think it's going to be pretty unpredictable because that is Trump. That is how he operates. That is his whole thing. You know, he's unpredictable. We don't know what he's going to do next. And I think the meme coins kind of really demonstrates that. However, you know, he does seem serious about the promises that he made, about the things that he said about crypto. And look, you know, he's a crypto owner himself. You know, we've seen World Liberty Financial, this DeFi project that's associated with him. They hold a lot of crypto. They've been buying a lot of crypto. It's not just Bitcoin. It's not just these meme coins that have been issued in him and Melania's names. You know, he seems pretty serious about it. So I think we can expect to see pro crypto regulations. I think we can expect to see a friendlier regulatory environment. We've already had a big win. Gary Gensler has gone from the SEC. I don't know how long it will take to approve his successor, but his successor certainly seems more pro-crypto than Gary was. I mean, that's not particularly difficult, but still. There's talk of a pro-crypto appointment at the CFTC as well. So really, I think there are a lot of things to be optimistic about. But like I say, I think there will be surprises along the way.
Expect the unexpected. Vishal, I'm curious to get your take now on, does this mean now 2025 that we are in more of a crypto-friendly environment?
I think we have been in more of a crypto-friendly environment globally, especially in the MEASA region in Europe. You see the regulations that are already come into place. But at this point, what you will see are the ones who've always been iffy about crypto, the regulators all the jurisdictions that never came to a point of view because their policies were always designed on what the US would think, or some other parts of the different administrations would think. But you will see them now, okay, actually pick a side and say, okay, fine, let's do this. If he's coming into power, he's pro crypto, they're going to come up with crypto regulations. We also want to be a little bit ahead and try and come up with our own crypto regulations. Or we want to just mimic what they come up with, as they have been doing, some of the jurisdictions have been doing in the past in traditional finance. So I think it's going to be, but again, going back to what Guy said, it's going to be completely unpredictable. You never know in what stages they would come out in, how the different pushing out a bill or pushing out anything in any part of the world. If you look at some of the other countries that have been thinking about crypto and have come with draft consultation papers and have rolled it out, just for that crypto to become a law has taken them so much time. MiCA is an example in Europe. It's taken so much time for it to actually come out in place. So this is definitely a positive sentiment from the crypto industry's perspective. It makes having those conversations with regulators a lot more easier, because now you know that there's someone in one of the most powerful countries in the world who's pro-crypto. So it makes those conversations a lot easier. And I hope it works out best for the entire industry.
And I think a really good statement to attest to that is this weekend. That was such a good example for us waking up and seeing that it was a quiet weekend, aside from the fact that we did see the president and also the first lady launch a meme coin. I don't think that was on anyone's 2025 bingo card. I'm curious to hear from all of you, and Alice, we'll start with you, just because with CoinMarketCap as well, you do have access to some of the data aggregation points. When we see things like this is a huge news. This is a huge talking point in terms of engagement, but also perception. What does this mean for the industry, and how much do these really high profile moves, how much does it actually do good for the industry?
Yeah, that's a really good discussion point, because there are three things I wanted to reflect on the launch of the Trump meme coin tokens. But before that, let's regroup on the stats, right? So as we speak right now, the price of Trump tokens is something around $37. And that has ranked roughly around 25 on CoinMarketCap right now. So you literally saw the birth of a meme token that is launched straight into large cap and has been in the large cap for a long time. So that shows the strong community support that we have for Trump. And also the mania meme coin that we're seeing right now, although it dipped a little bit to 148 ranked, something around that level. But again, going back to Guy's point, it's a very smart structure that Trump has put together for his crypto game. To be honest, the impact of it, there are a few smart thinking, 3 points I wanted to mention. Number one is, before the launch of this meme coins, Trump had about 10% of his net worth in crypto. But after the launch of it, above 90%, right? So he's got a stake in the game now. So for him to push for crypto-friendly regulation, I think it definitely makes more sense for the interest to be more aligned. Second thing is, people get a bit scared when they saw the tokenomics. 80% of the Trump tokens are still locked. Now, it makes me start to think, right? It's unlikely that 80% is all locked for personal gains. There might be potential utilities coming out of Trump tokens, thinking about airdrops to the supporters, thinking about used for political campaigns or lobbies, think about other utilities that could potentially be on top. So now coming back to this, to say for politicians and business people to get involved into crypto and use it and expand it to something with utilities is a good take for us. And number three, I wanted to say about this is, first of all, definitely it's the onboarding of the Web2 people, but also the whole community engagement. What we're seeing on CoinMarketCap is meme coin has been the number one sector in terms of page view on CMC for the past 3 quarters. And especially since last week, for the past 9 days, we've seen that the political memes, and the top 3 sectors on CoinMarketCap right now is meme coins, political memes, and Solana ecosystem. So the boost that this has done for Solana ecosystem and the pure onboarding of the Web2 people, especially now that the token is listed on Robinhood, all the big tier 1 crypto exchanges, but also to onboard some of the retail users for us is being very helpful.
And the stats there are just absolutely remarkable. So thank you for sharing. Guy, I'm curious to get your take because you have put out a lot of videos over the last 24 months on meme coins and educating people. Do you think this is the peak of the meme coin narrative? Is this about as good as it gets, the president of the United States? Or do you think this is just the beginning for the meme coin mania of maybe new retail that are looking to come in that have never got into crypto before?
It's a good question because you think, well, who is bigger? Who is bigger than Trump? Who can launch a meme coin? I mean, I guess the only person who could be who is in any way sort of comparable in kind of status and fame would be Elon Musk, and he's already associated with Dogecoin. And let's face it, has quite enough on his plate without launching his own meme coin. So, I mean, I guess part of me feels maybe this should be the peak because there literally is no one bigger. The president of the United States launched their own meme coin. Okay, they weren't the president technically at the time, which I think may have been important. But I mean, yeah, it's just saying that sentence is just still such a weird thing to hear.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. We're living in a simulation sort of moment, isn't it? It's like yes, the president of the United States does have his own meme coin, and so does his wife. Yeah, that's actually true. So it feels like it should be the top of it. But like I say, Trump is unpredictable, and crypto is unpredictable as well. So you know there could still be plenty to run from this. I think the point Alice makes is very interesting. Like, yeah, if there is utility for it, if it is, you know, if this huge amount that is there's 80% or whatever that is yet to unlock, which I think is due to unlock in April or something, in which some people are saying, well, things are going to get really ugly then. But yeah, I mean, it is an opportunity for them to do something with it, and that would, I think, if they did, that would really change people's perception of it. So that seems like a good opportunity for them. Whether or not they will do it, I have no idea. But yeah, I mean, this is certainly an enormous moment, and it spills out way beyond crypto because, again, as has been pointed out, this has onboarded a lot of people.
Yeah.
If I had to choose the way to onboard a whole load of new users to crypto, I don't think I would have chosen the president of the United States launching their own meme coin personally, but I guess we've just got to take our wins where we can find them, right?
Absolutely. And I've got to give a shout out here to Jason Yanovich, who is the co-founder of Blockworks. He actually had put a tweet out. Interestingly enough, so 50% of the Trump Melania token holders, they'd actually never bought a Solana altcoin before. So they had gone straight in, full degeneracy. And this is the first time that they have had a retail onboarding event where we've seen such high figures. Vishal, I'm curious to ask you now, what do you think when it comes to bringing legitimacy into the space? Because as Guy mentioned as well, when it comes to kind of really reaffirming different use cases and different value and rewriting narratives for crypto holders, anything that is kind of positive and forward thinking is good news for the space.
It is, but I think we should not be giving too much of credit to what's happened in the recent past as opposed to what's happened throughout 2024. 2024 saw the Bitcoin ETFs being approved, and that was a huge moment for the industry. That's what actually brought in your institutional players. Now you have the investment arms of the world, across the world, all your big bankers, the investment bankers. Now they have a fiduciary duty to tell their clients about the existence of an ETF that might be volatile, but it's there. And as a regulated entity, you should be able to tell your clients that, hey, this is another asset class that is now available to you. Should you be interested, it's my job to go get it for you. I think that brought legitimacy. Having that entity, having those ETFs approved, it just brought in the big boys. Crypto is and always will be one of the most retail-run industry in the world in terms of financial services. But when you had institutional players now coming in with these products, that was important. And now you have regulations coming in that are more standard than what you have seen before. That gave it a legitimacy because now you have sovereigns who are dealing with the people's money, basically, pension funds, those kind of entities are now investing into the space because, like that's the right word. This kind of events like the ETFs and the regulations, the clearer regulations, just give it a lot more legitimacy. And once you have somebody doing it, and then you throw in those words like strategic reserves popping out everywhere. El Salvador were the first ones to start that. I think there are a few others that are in the pipeline who are looking at the space. And then it becomes a global phenom. And then it becomes natural for governments to kind of think of, hey, why aren't we looking into this? Why aren't we doing the same thing? But is this place regulated? Is it safe? And then they come and contact the regulators. And then the regulators have no choice but to say, yeah, we have this ongoing and we're happy to do this. And you can do it with one of our licensed entities over here. So those kind of events through the course of 2024 brought in the legitimacy that this industry absolutely deserved. It was important. And I think that negativity with which our industry was viewed as before has kind of dimmed out a lot, and hope to see the best coming. And if his coming into power has that effect, hey, we're all in for the joyride.
Let's go. Now we'll dive into the spot ETFs in just a moment. Before that, I do want to direct this one to you, Alice. So one kind of new trending topic that we saw this week was the made in the USA tokens and coins. So we saw CoinMarketCap and also CoinGecko list as a separate subtopic within the data platforms, made in the USA. Talk us through that for people that might have, missed the memo of what's happened this week. Why are all eyes on US tokens, and what does this mean for those tokens specifically?
Yeah, sure. For the record, I think we did it quicker than Gecko. It's just but okay, so on CoinMarketCap homepage right now, if you go onto the different categories, you'll see we pinged it as a category set, tokens made in the USA. So these are the projects that either have a product focused on the US market, or they have funders related to the US, or they just have a very big exposure to the US market. Now, back to your first question, Jessica, I think that was a very good one in terms of why this topic is a big trend for us and what Trump administration could mean for crypto. So these are the projects, a lot of them, which you'll see, for example, like XRP, some of the other like infrastructure layers, like they are going to, for the long legal battle they've been with the SEC, and now with a shift in the political directions, they are going to benefit from it. And on top of that, we have DeFi products. We have, for example, Uniswap, a lot of the other tokens in there, a few of the AI-related tokens as well. So these are the areas. I forgot to mention RWA. So this DeFi, RWA, infrastructure, AI, these 4 areas are going to get very direct benefit from an opening up of a market. So I think both in terms of innovation, in terms of capital flows, in terms of market access, these are the tokens that are going to capture this trend. Hence, we call them made in the US, made in America. So it's just an easy way for us to put everything under in one area for people to look back into some of those projects. If you had missed it from last cycle, maybe it's time to go back in and check if there's more potential coming up.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, guys. Now, I think we should turn over into looking at some of the trending search terms that we saw this week. Because what's interesting, we saw a notable surge in buy cryptocurrency as a search term, but also buy Solana this week. So, Guy, I have to ask you, and this is the big question, is retail finally back? And if so, is this, we've talked about some of the kind of the fundamentals here that make 2025 different to previous years, possibly previous market cycles. So could this be the start of a new era of crypto adoption?
I think it could be, yeah, because well, yeah, I mean, look at those search terms. Look at things like downloads for Phantom wallets, for various other sort of crypto focused apps. I mean, they are, they're sort of climbing the rankings as well. All of which are definite indicators that new people are entering the market. I mean, we always look at things at Coin Bureau. We look at market sentiment through metrics, sort of like how many views are our videos getting, how many new subscribers are we getting, and we've generally found that that's quite a good indicator of how healthy the market is in that regard. And we're seeing that, and I think other YouTube channels are seeing those metrics tick up as well, although nowhere near 2021 levels. So I think retail are on their way back, and I think crypto is once again on people's radar. Again, I'll reiterate that if I could have chosen a way for crypto to get onto people's radar, perhaps it would have been something different than a meme coin launched by the president. But again, we'll take what we can get. I guess the big question remains, like, will people stick around? How many of these people who are new, who are coming into the space, will go, okay, so all right, so I've got this Trump token, that's very interesting. I see there's a whole load of other stuff on this Phantom app, or what about all these other cryptos? You know, what are people getting so excited about? In other parts of the ecosystem, how many of those people stick around, I think will give us a better idea of how back we are, so to speak. Yeah, and of course, like, one of the big unknowns is how many people. Vishal was talking quite rightly about the importance of the spot ETFs earlier. We still don't really know how many of those people who bought into those were kind of new to crypto, and this is one of the things that kind of muddied the waters a little bit, I think, because okay, yeah, you know, someone buying Bitcoin via a spot ETF, they're technically in crypto, but like, are they going to then sort of go and explore the rest of the ecosystem? Quite possibly not, because of the nature of these spot ETF products. So I hesitate to say we're fully back, but it certainly seems like the door is beginning to creak open. And again, I think, like, positive regulations, more positive news around, narrative follows price. So if we get more positive news, if the industry itself gets the things it's hoping for, like, for instance, the repeal of SAB 121, then I think, you know, we would see an increase. We would see Bitcoin go up, and the rest of the market follow it, and that is the best way to bring new people in. I think FOMO is perhaps the most underrated metric there is, the most underrated pull that there is.
Yeah. And I think just to go on what you've said on the bullish headlines. So we've all been so focused in the beginning of this conversation on the US and what's coming out there, but we've also got the World Economic Forum in Davos going on the very same week. And we saw BlackRock CEO Larry Fink. He said Bitcoin could run to $700,000 if sovereign wealth funds start allocating Bitcoin to capital. And he's advised kind of a 3 to 5% capital allocation. So we're seeing some huge bullish news from different kind of large entity representatives too. Guy, also just to add, remember you were saying about the indicators of different markets and viewership being one of them. I think another one also has to be cryptocurrency exchange merch that gets given to the Coin Bureau channels. So we'll make sure to send you some excellent Binance merch coming your way.
Always gratefully received. We've had some interesting merch through, actually, in the last few days. I was like, wow, some creative minds at these exchanges.
The bucket hat in the corner here is also a testament to that too.
A timeless classic.
It is a classic. So guys, we've mentioned a few times during the conversation the spot Bitcoin ETFs and the ETF inflows and appetite. So what we'll do now is we'll turn over to an image that I'm going to share on the screen. So this is from James Seyfarth, who is an ETF analyst at Bloomberg, someone that has really kind of came to cryptocurrency X fame in the last year because all eyes were on the spot Bitcoin ETF inflows. And he's shared an enormous amount of ETF applications that have been filed for 2025. And these are not just Bitcoin focused. As we've noticed, we've also got Solana, Litecoin, and Dogecoin ETF filings and much more besides. We've also got a few different baskets of cryptocurrency tokens. So it's just a remarkable list. It just shows the appetite from the kind of the asset managers on how much they're looking to really roll out. So maybe Vishal, we can start with you. When it comes to the ETF market in the cryptocurrency space, what kind of things are we expecting this year? What kind of things should we keep note for as people that are, watching the cryptocurrency market with open eyes?
You'll see a lot more jurisdictions. I've been in conversations with a few regulators globally who are planning on allowing the exchanges list ETFs very soon. And you're going to see a lot more of them coming. And they will start off with the more traditional crypto ETFs like Bitcoin, ETH to start with. I doubt they're going to allow for a meme coin ETF anytime soon, but they would start off with the more traditional ones and see how it goes and what the appetite is from the market, what the interest is from the retail users, and then they'll go from there. But there is definitely a demand for it. There's definitely an acceptance of it, and they kind of see it as where crypto meets traditional finances, right? It's the financial service industry where you have this mammoth of a coin that is said to be the biggest thing since gold. And on the other side, you have the TradFi people who are now beginning to believe in it, like you just said, what Larry Fink just said. So once you have an amalgamation of both of these guys coming together, why not make the best use and give the people or give the users who understand what they need and give them an opportunity to add that to their portfolios. Some people who have a little more of that risk appetite for it. But like I always tell them, just make sure that they all understand what they're investing into. It's great to be a part of the hype. It's great to get very sucked into the whole vibe that is out there right now, and BTCs and the ETH and the meme coins and the Trump coins and all that kind of stuff. But you really need to understand before you place that money in there. And that's why I think education is going to be key. And that's what the regulators have been focused on. I think education is going to be a key part of that. So let's see how it goes. I don't think anyone is going to be shutting out crypto as they used to before. I think it's just it's a great opportunity for the industry to drive the adoption forward and drive that increase in that adoption right now.
Agreed. It'll also be really interesting to see investor appetite as well. We noticed the huge success with the spot Bitcoin ETFs, and for BlackRock in particular, is one of their most successful ETF launches for date. The Ethereum ETFs, however, that launched and got approved in May, that was a little bit of a flop in comparison when we come to kind of asset size and investor interest. So it will be really interesting to see how the other assets that are listed with spot crypto ETFs really perform. Guy, I'm curious to get your take, especially because we have just mentioned the kind of buy Solana search volumes at all-time high. We've talked about the meme coin frenzy that we've seen. Spot Solana ETFs, do you have any expectations? What's the Coin Bureau consensus there?
What's interesting is that just recently, I think just in the last day or so, I forget which asset manager it was, but there were applications filed for CME futures products for Solana and XRP. Now, obviously, a CME futures listing is traditionally, a precursor to getting a spot ETF approved. And I think a lot of the talk recently, when people have been mentioning the possibility of further altcoin ETFs, be they XRP, Solana, whatever, a lot of people, us included, have sort of said, well, no CME futures products, just saying that might be an issue. So I think the fact that product could be coming to market soon, I think that certainly makes it a lot more possible. And yeah, I mean, I don't see. I think the environment in the United States is going to be more open to that sort of thing. The SEC is no longer going to be as anti-crypto as it was. So I think the appetite is there. So I would imagine we will see a spot Solana ETF by the end of the year. I think maybe we might get other ones first. There seems to be, and after the Ethereum ones were approved, which, as I recall, sort of came a little bit out of the blue, all the talk was then Solana. Oh, it'll be Sol next. That I feel has changed. I mean, Alice Fisher, you might disagree with me here, but it seems to be that the sentiment now is more towards things like an XRP ETF. I think a Litecoin ETF gets talked about quite a lot because Litecoin's sort of commodity status, I think, is easier to sort of wade through, so to speak. So Solana might not be first, but I think the environment for it, certainly in the United States, is positive in that regard. Yeah, so I think we'll see one.
I have data to back up Guy's statement. I agree with you. So we recently did a CoinMarketCap yearbook where we asked people to vote for 2025 predictions. And we asked them, what are the tokens likely to get approved for ETF this year. We gave them options: Solana, Litecoin, BNB, Ripple, Doge. Right. So we got about 2K voting in the end. Solana is the number one, 43.6%. And then Ripple XRP is number two, 40.1%. So from the crypto community support side, I think the data aligns with what Guy stated. And also coming back to Vishal's point, I think the market is ready, it's mature, it's ready for more ETF products. 2 points I want to make. Number one is ETF approval does not mean AUM in the fund. So still in terms of onboarding of Web2 money into Web3, I think BTC and the difference that we saw with BTC versus Ethereum is definitely giving us an indicator. Yes, you can be approved for ETF, but it doesn't mean you're winning the game, right? But the second thing is, which is interesting, the point I want to make is refining more sophisticated products. Ethereum ETF could be starting to do staking rewards as well, right? So we have a bit of crypto native advantages that we haven't been able to bring to the ETF industry yet. I'm going to add on one more point, which is RWAs. So there are two ways to look at it. First one is use ETF to wrap all the crypto tokens. The second way is to use blockchain to actually wrap all the traditional financial assets. So a very important point that a lot of these financial institution leaders are making at Davos is RWA as a sector. So I think in 2025, we're likely to see the booming of both sides, both ETF side as well as RWA side.
Fantastic. Some really great points there. Now, just before we wrap it up, guys, because we have covered a range of topics today, we've taken a look at the inauguration and what this could mean for crypto. We've taken a look at Trump's meme coin. We had to talk about it. Search volumes to buy Solana and buy crypto at all-time highs, and also some of the momentum that came from Davos as well. It's been an exhausting week. Have I missed anything? Has there been any other news points that you guys would like to raise or flag?
Well, I think one thing that we didn't touch on today, which obviously happened yesterday, was Ross Ulbricht being released, which I think is something Trump promised it. He's on camera promising it, so it would have been a pretty bad move for him not to make good on that promise. But I did kind of think that was a really positive thing to see. It sort of said, well, okay, he's going to keep. He means to keep some of these promises. So I think that's a big moment for the industry, because whatever you think about what he did, whatever you think about what Silk Road was and still stands for, he was one of the first people who ever demonstrated that there was something that you could that Bitcoin was more than just, you know, a magic internet coin with no value. People people are often uncomfortable with this in the same way. And what's really interesting, just to touch on another topic that isn't so relevant this week, but was a big thing recently. You know, we're now seeing Russia use Bitcoin for international trade. Now, this is something. I mean, I think this is absolutely huge, because it's kind of like Silk Road, but on an international level. In a way, and what I mean by that is that we're seeing Bitcoin being used kind of in the way that it was intended, as permissionless, borderless money, as a medium of exchange, and in a way that makes a lot of people very uncomfortable, in a way that a lot of people don't agree with. But nevertheless, it is kind of a proof of concept. And what was it, 10 years ago, 2015, or whenever Silk Road was operating, we saw it at the level of the individual, the individual using Silk Road to buy, illegal stuff. Now we're seeing it at the level of at an international level, a country that a lot of people, feel fairly strongly about, using it to break sanctions. A lot of people won't feel happy about that, but still, it's the most incredible proof of concept for what Bitcoin was supposed to be. And I think it's worthy of discussion.
Absolutely, very well said there. Okay, so yeah, we've got the Ross Ulbricht, and we've got a little thumbs up, and that being a positive news flow that we've seen this week. Anything else, Alice Vishal, as a final ending note?
I just wanted to mention one keyword, which is BTC reserve. When are we going to get it? I think everyone is waiting for that, because we literally saw the Twitter updates before we started the live that we thought Trump is going to sign an executive order this week about BTC reserve. No, we waited, but it turns out the news is for Senator Lumius to become the head of digital asset commerce. But again, I think everyone has been waiting and waiting for some sort of crypto executive order coming out to have more clarity on BTC reserve as a reserve asset. And later on, Trump is having a call with President Bukele of El Salvador to discuss this. So I think that seems to be the number one topic right now in terms of BTC reserve, hence the price swings. I hope you guys are okay for the past 30 minutes.
This is true. We've not actually been watching the prices. So everyone that is watching on the live and joining us, you have to keep us updated with how the prices have been moving in the last 30 minutes. Fantastic. Well, Guy, Vishal, Alice, thank you so much for joining today. What a week to summarize what's been going on in the markets. Really appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This was the first live stream of 2025. We hope you enjoyed it. We would love to hear some feedback from you all. Please share your thoughts in the comments. We will get around to reading them all, and see you all again for the next one.